Yeah,
Hey
another
everyone,
Friday.
we're back. Another Friday. Yep. So
Here we go.
yeah, we're gonna get into it. Um, what you got for us? I know I didn't have any. I didn't have an icebreaker, but you don't have to. It's up to you. We can just go into it
Uh,
from.
no. It was one icebreaker. I ran across something interesting in Cleveland, Ohio, but it was sad, very scary that there was two children. I think 8-year old, 10-year old, found in suitcases, buried. They was deceased. The mother did it, and
Wow.
the fathers buried them um, last Saturday, which was March 28th. And the first thing I thought about, like I was telling you on the
Hmm.
phone, is when I saw it, I was thinking about, okay, where's Laura Cowing at? Since Tracy Potts said that she advocates for children as well.
Yeah.
Now, where was she at? When these two children popped up missing, and then the police find them deceased in suitcases, buried. And condolences to the fathers because it was that right there, that even gave me chills. That was I don't know what this world is coming to, but that was just sad right there. And then you got somebody that runs real fast when it comes to adults, but not children.
Yeah,
And
here's the thing, like you said, she's always saying she advocate for children, but we've never seen it. Every time we see clips or find out about her, it's always for like adult violence or something like that. It's never. I've never seen it.
yeah, and so I'm saying, if that's what Tracy Potts said that she's about, I would like to see it because I've never seen it. All I've seen is a bunch of stuff thrown on podcasters, and these podcasters, they really get me because they put her up there and they don't ask the actual questions. They ask like things that she's already said that's been out in
Yeah,
the media for years. They don't go dive deep and ask questions. I mean, she said it herself to somebody on Facebook Live last year. She said, I was never involved in any of the abuse. I was never even mentioned.
and
That's
we
not
know
true.
that's a lie. That's
It's
not
a
true at
it's the
all.
biggest it's the biggest lie actually that you can tell because I mean, I'm I'm just ready to get into it right
Yeah,
now.
yeah. We just gonna
I'm
roll
ready
into it
to get
because
into it because
yeah,
after me and you, we've come across tons of information concerning Laura Cowing, and we've been doing this faithfully for like almost the last month now since we
yes.
obtained these transcripts. And she has a criminal past. She has a
Hmm.
long criminal past, and I think, you know, in my opinion, I think Julie granted Laura some type of immunity based off of, okay, I want to get the ringleader. Not
Hmm.
saying that
That
Musa
Musa,
was the
yeah,
ringleader, but I'm saying, looking from her standpoint as a prosecutor, she was probably thinking, hey, I want to get the ringleader because of all the pictures that this lady collected and recordings, and wrote a letter on top of that detailing things about him, but not herself. And so Julie Baldwin probably was thinking, hey, this is my personal belief. I don't have any facts to this, but just us dissecting these transcripts, it looks like she granted Laura some type of immunity based off of, like I said, okay, I'm going to get the ringleader. So I'm going to secure a crucial testimony of Laura based off of what she wrote and recorded. In other words, you give me what I need, and I give you what you
hmm
need.
quid
That's
pro
what.
quo.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Exactly.
exchange the service. You know what I'm saying? You do. Yeah.
So that's what it looks like to me when I'm reading these transcripts. is that, oh, you give me something I need in exchange for what you need, which is
Mm-hmm.
do any time because you was in this home. And another thing I looked at that situation, you know, saying that I want to get the ringleader. So, all four of the adults in the home was wrong. And I stand by that till today. And I stood by that in my testimony.
Yeah,
I
you
didn't
sure did.
fold.
You was on the stand. You were like, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't fold. I didn't sugarcoat it. I didn't hide. I didn't lie. You was the four adults. When you got adults living in the home and that much stuff is going on with children in the home, you're all at fault. And it don't matter whether, oh yeah, he's incarcerated, he's never getting out, he's getting his punishment and he's wrong, but that doesn't mean that the other three adults, they're cleared. That doesn't mean that. They gonna say that, oh, I didn't do anything, no, I was cleared of that. That doesn't mean anything. That doesn't mean anything. You was there. You was there and you saw things happen and you didn't do anything about it. You know,
Yeah. Just stood
you did.
around.
All of them together was enablers, every last one of them. I don't care how much you say, I was afraid, I was scared. That's not what I saw. Especially when you got Adrian sitting up in transcripts saying that she was beating him up. But then you hear another story that's put out there in the media that she was beat all up and that he just kidnapped her. I mean, Laura said blatantly out of her mouth that he just went out and grabbed some other girl, kidnapped her, and put her in the garage next door. And those weren't even garages. And I'm tired of that stuff, saying that, hey, they was in the garage. I'm tired of that story, getting put out there, because those was adults and they made their own choices. They made their own choices on where they wanted to lay their heads at. They made their choices on, oh, getting with a married man, knowing that it was already a burden. He had a wife and 13 kids. They knew that when they came into the home. They was well aware of it. Well aware of it. Both of them.
And Adrian, she knew that for years because she been knowing y'all. You
Oh,
said since you was
yeah.
like 11. She been
Yeah,
knowing that.
Adrian knew it for years. And Laura knew it too, because I mean,
Yeah. Yeah. Did we say this last week? Did we say this last week? She been knowing Musa since 1990.
1990.
But see, they don't tell people that.
They don't
So
tell
she
people
already
that.
knew. That's why she said that little thing, that clip. Well, I've been knowing of the family before I even met them.
She said before she met us, she knew of some things that we all went through and some things that our mom went through.
Exactly.
And we wonder how you know that. And yet you still made a beeline to get with this monster. And you a monster yourself. Boy, they something else. I'm just telling you.
Yo, this
But
comical
she might.
listening
The
to
thing
their
is
train.
that
It's I'm
whoever
saying
gave her.
No, I'm saying it's comical listening to their testimonies.
Yeah, it was
I
fun.
know me. We gonna say it, but we was cracking up. Yo.
It was, yeah. When it got down to Marcus and Marlon, I was like,
yeah, but also Laura's
well,
too. Laura's, especially Musa.
oh, hers was something else.
Yeah,
Hers was something. But I'm saying when we was reading Dad's, I mean, we know how big of a character he can be, but when you read how he sat in front, I mean, more is coming. We're only telling bits and pieces. It's deeper than what we're talking about right now. It's just that we're giving like little bits and pieces of what we've been dissecting. But to hear him in his testimony sit up there and make fun of his two sons the way he did and called names, that's why they put him away.
Looked it real bad.
It looked it bad. It looked it bad when you sitting up there calling your sons these sociopathic, names. And you the sociopath and you calling your children that, and you wonder why. Everybody knows when you see children doing bizarro stuff, it's something wrong. When you see a child crawling on their belly to the nurse's office, stealing the nurse's lunch, in elementary school, it's
Mm-hmm.
something going on at home. It's something wrong. So that's just one of the things, I wanted to put out there, is that, it's something seriously wrong. And he sits up there and he speaks and he doesn't even use his own brain and knowledge. That, do you hear what you're saying out of your mouth?
He was wide open. I couldn't believe what he was saying. I'm
When
like,
that
what?
came about, I was like, Rick, do he realize what he's saying out of his mouth? And I was just sitting there, and I'm just like, we was quiet. It was like a story time to us.
Mm-hmm.
We was just reading quiet. I'm just like, wow. It just, it's like, do you, are you thinking you're in a courtroom with 15, 16 jurors in the box and a judge, and then you got your attorney, and you got three DAs sitting there, and nobody stopped him from talking.
He was just
He
going.
just
That's the crazy part.
he just sat there going on and on and on and on and on about his kids. And he's not holding himself or none of the adults accountable, and they're not taking any responsibility for nothing
Whatsoever.
they
Mm-mm.
haven't. Our mother has not personally
Mm-mm.
spoke from my knowledge of speaking to some of my siblings. She hasn't had any sit downs with none of them personally and said, I take responsibility for what I did and I'm sorry. You know what she did? She did it in front of the court. You know why?
Yeah, yeah.
Because you was up under the lock and key. That's why.
Mm-hmm.
But after those courtroom doors closed and that trial was over with, y'all, things went,
Silence.
it
Silence. She
went,
ain't saying
it went,
nothing.
yep, it went silent. And there was an aftermath of more mistreatment. And I can't bear it. That's why, like I was telling you, Rick, in our private conversation, I can't bear it because the thing is that I can't. I mean, you already lived a certain way as a child, but as an adult, that stuff really gonna play on your mind if you're sitting around an individual. Like, for example, Sharon, on one of her interviews that she did with you last year, she said that she thought buying our mother stuff, giving her money, going to visit her, going to her house to sit on the porch, that was gonna bring them closer together. She said that's what she thought. And then she stated that, you know, um, everybody was there and they left to go to the store. And it was just me and her sitting there. And she said she didn't even reach over and say she loved me, give me a hug, none of that. That's what she was waiting for. And I understand how she feel, none of that. So she came to a point in her life, like, why even try? And that's where I'm at in my life. I stopped trying at 22, 23 years old. No, 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 no. It's bad.
Yeah,
It's not good. I'm
yeah.
not doing it. It's not a good thing to be doing it, you know. And
Mm-hmm.
so besides what we just spoke about Laura, being let go free from the criminal charges that's in those transcripts that's listed on her shady past, I wanted to say this, that when our uncle testified, he was repetitiously asked by Julie Baldwin. So you saw, and that was the crazy part, Rick. So you saw such and such do this to X, Y, and Z, and you didn't call the police, right? And you didn't call
Uh-huh.
the police. And you didn't call the police. Okay, Julie, if you watching, why don't you ask yourself about that 26-page letter that Laura wrote and all them recordings that she gave you guys and those pictures? Ask yourself, why didn't you ask her when you cross-examined her? Why didn't you do anything? That's why I said it's something that the state did to get her out of the situation that she was in with her own shady past that she had. Because Laura won't perfect, and I'm just letting everybody know that that's watching us. She was not a perfect person at all. She was far from it. Far from it. I've seen her as a kid do some things. I mean, my mother did some stuff, but I seen Laura do some things that I've never seen a woman do in my life. Things that I can remember. Things that I documented. I've seen her do some things, you know.
Okay. Do you want to get to the person we know in her area? That's up to you.
Yes. So there's a person that me and you know him, but I'm
We
not gonna
spoke to him
mention
over the
this.
phone.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
spoke to him. When did we speak to him? Last
It was
Thursday?
yeah,
Thursday.
yeah.
So there's a person that we do know, a Cleveland-based person. I'm not gonna mention his name, but I look forward to one day, which he said he would probably do, come on this podcast.
Yeah.
That's
I
gonna
told him he
really
can come
show.
up. Yeah, I told
Yeah,
him to let you
he
know he can
come up
come here
here.
when he get time. Yeah.
And so I don't know about everybody else because I'm not present and I haven't had any contact with him, but I've had contact, me and you, with this individual. And I just wanted to want everybody to know that he did work for Laura Cowan. Richard and I, we have been in contact with him. And he has stated to us that Laura told him she was beaten up by her husband for over
For
25 years.
25 years. She
And
took
that
mom's place.
she, yeah, took our mother's place and said that she ran away from her. He said he never knew of this case getting legal or anything until he heard from us that it was a legal case. He said he didn't even know that. So he said that all he knew was that what she told him. He hasn't seen any paperwork, none of that, just nothing but what she's told him and what she's went out there and put on the news. But he said he hadn't seen any paperwork. And most of the people in Cleveland, he said, that she deal with, they ain't seen no paperwork.
I
They're
think
just going by.
Cleveland is like a hotbed of domestic violence and
Yeah, it is.
kidnappings and all
Mm-hmm.
types of stuff because you look at their news and stuff. So they're probably just so used to that, they probably just automatically just believed her,
Yep.
which is, you still got to do some research. But
Yeah, you do. And he stated to us that Lord told him that she was beaten. She ran away from her husband of
mm-hmm.
25 years. That she finally escaped and ran to Ohio. And then not just that, but she defrauded him out of $10,000-$15,000. Never paid him. But I'm pretty sure we didn't mention the name, right, Rick? But if she's
Nah,
watching, I think she know who he is.
yeah.
She knows exactly, because you know why?
She
She
watches.
did it.
Yeah,
She did it.
she watches.
Yeah, she did it. And he stated this. He stated this. He said her son don't like her. And when all of them go on these TV shows, he said it's all cap. That it's not real. It's all cap. And I know how it feels because we've been put in that situation with our parents. Make believe, oh, that didn't happen. No, don't tell this. Don't tell that because you're going to have this repercussion or this is going to happen to you. That's going to happen to you. That's how it is. But I say this too, is that all of her children are adults now. None of them have no excuse to be lying the way that they've lied. They've lied.
They past grown.
Way past. Way past. Way past. So I'm like, they don't have no excuses to be doing, the stuff that they're saying they're doing. And then Taz is the shocking part, is Taz is only mentioned in them documents like maybe 3-4 times.
And that's just a simple
But
fact that
but it was
they had a
but
child together. It's
she
not
was
like
only mentioned because she was asked by each attorney, did they have a child together
yep.
and what hospital Taz was born at.
Mm-hmm.
So when she went and she told this lady that is a psychologist on TikTok, when Girl in the Garage came out, She told this one lady, she said that was her life and she went through that. She just lies like her mother. She lies like her mother because she's not even mentioned in there at all. At all. She's not even relevant at all. She's like a ghost, you know.
Mm.
So I don't know why she came up, with that, to say something like that. I'm like, that's odd that you would sit up there and say something like that. But hey, you know,
Mm.
they do that.
Mm.
So so one of the things we wanted to get into, which we're not gonna get into a lot, but
Yeah.
this podcast was based off, the health of the children in the home. So we're
Yep.
gonna get off into that. A couple.
Yeah. We're
We're
not
not
gonna
gonna
get as
name.
deep, but we got no
Yeah.
names. Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
No names.
Mm-hmm.
Or if they was male or female, we're not
Yep.
gonna
None
do
of
that.
that. Mm-hmm.
But you'll know the age and you'll
Yeah.
know, what happened. But we'll get off deeper into that once we're finished because it's a lot. When you got boxes and boxes
Yo,
and
yo.
boxes of stuff
What
you
I want
gotta
to say, what I want to say is that like I've been saying it, but it's a lot, and it's like when we go through it. I know with Dad's testimony, we went through a certain part, stopped because it was so much, and I think we did all of Tiffany's. We did all of we didn't even finish all of Laura's. We did a lot of hers though, but it's
we
just so
didn't finish
much.
it.
You didn't
We
finish it.
didn't finish it. And then when we get off into it, we're like taking our weekends on top
Mm-hmm.
of working, our own jobs. We taking our weekends and we're
Yeah,
working, going over all of this stuff. And I
just
mean,
trying to
six
find the
to
best way
7
to
hours.
yeah, and trying to find the best way to present it because it's so much and what
Hmm.
to leave out and what to say. So that's why like Crystal said, we're giving you pieces. You know what I'm saying? Little
Yeah.
insights. Yeah.
So, you ready to start?
Yeah, yeah, I'll do this. I'll start off.
Okay.
Child one, uh, age 9, 46 pounds, 4 feet, decayed teeth, malnutrition, severe anemia, bruises covered the whole body. And that's crazy.
That's
You know what
so.
I'm saying?
Hmm.
Yeah,
So what you
yeah.
just read just then to family members that has been lied to by our father, and he's telling you, oh, I'm gonna get out, I'm getting out, I'm getting out. He's not getting out. And then saying those kids lied and they lie all the time. No, nobody lied about this. And what Richard just read,
Mm-hmm.
those are in
Yeah.
documents and transcripts. There's pictures of everything.
And anemia, the blood disorder, causes your skin to be pale, and sometimes
Yeah,
they say yellowish, and that's what y'all was dealing with. And Laura, and it brings you to near death, and that's what Laura keeps saying. We
yeah,
were dying in there. She knew that was happening to y'all,
yeah.
and for 2 years she just recorded.
And mind you, while we're reading, we're not talking about Laura's kids
Yeah,
because
these are
there's
not
no
Laura's kids at
documentation.
all.
We're
Yeah.
talking about Musa and our mother's kids. That's who we're talking about. There's
Mm-hmm.
nothing in there of this magnitude in there at all. Period.
Nothing.
This
Th-
is this is
Threw it
this
all
is
out.
what
Yep.
what Richard just read. This is the she's been using our siblings in the media and pending their medical
Mm-hmm.
status on her kids. That's what
And
she's
her
been doing.
and herself.
And her
Yep.
and
Mm-hmm.
pinning on herself. Because when she stated that video that you posted, she said, we were dying in there. Our skin was yellowish, ashy, pale.
Mm-hmm.
She said, he fed us when he wanted to. That's a lie. That's a lie. Took it from every last one of our testimonies.
Exactly.
Every
Everything.
last one of our testimonies, she took it from. She gravitated to everybody's testimonies and took things from it. And then some of our siblings, she just took everything. and just been using it. But she never spoke. I wonder why she hasn't spoke about her testimony. That's what I wonder why you
Yeah,
haven't
you're right.
told. And it's gonna be yeah.
Mm.
If we got down deep into it, it would you would really be shocked. But she's never used her testimony. She's used our mother, or she's using us. Her testimony, I don't think she want to use it because I think she's afraid of what people are gonna find out. That's what I
She never
think.
used her testimony at all. You're right about that. She used
Yep,
everybody else's
yep.
because hers is bad. Trust me.
It's horrible. It's
It's,
Rick.
I'm
That
telling you,
funny. You kept laughing. Hey, it's
it's
bad.
bad. It is.
It's bad. I was like, when I was sitting up there reading, because I was like, ooh. And you was like,
Yep.
I was like, I didn't even know this stuff.
She's pulling back the curtain. You know, if
See,
you
when you
read.
start lying and saying the FBI got involved and all these agencies got involved, no, they got involved for you, for your shady past. That's when they got involved in your shady past.
Mm-hmm.
But when it came to Musa, yeah, law enforcement was there. But it wasn't the way she said it was. It was exaggerated. She's not going to tell nobody about.
She's on billboards and stuff. Please. Her husband even had the police out for her. He locked up. What he know?
She said her husband called and reported her missing. It's weird, all of it.
It is. It is. It's all
Mm,
okay. Child 2, age 9, 47 pounds, 4 feet, decayed teeth, malnutrition, severe anemia, bruises covered whole body.
mm. Hold on, Rick, because my battery went
Okay.
down a little bit. Let me plug this thing up.
All right.
Okay, there we go. Okay, go ahead.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I just finished with child 2. Um I do again. Child 2, age 9, 47 pounds, 4 feet, decayed teeth, malnutrition, severe anemia, bruises covered whole body.
Okay.
You know, so uh, let's go to child 3, 11 years old, 4 feet and a half, 50 pounds, decayed teeth, malnutrition, uh, severe anemia, bruises covered whole body.
Mm.
I'll wait till you get a little set up because I need.
Wait a minute. Something going on with my battery. Hold on. I want this thing to close. Shut
Okay.
down. It popped up there again. I hope this the right. Hold on. Sorry about
Hmm.
that.
Yeah, no problem. It's all good.
You probably come in here and step in.
Just waiting on crystals. Have no technical issues.
Okay, so what it was, I had the wrong cord.
Okay.
Okay, we can go. Sorry about that, you guys.
It's all good. I was up.
Okay,
I just stopped the child. I did child 3.
okay.
To be 11 years old and 4 feet and 50 pounds. That's crazy, right? You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? To be that age, I mean, all of it's crazy. You look at their ages and you look at their weight. You know, it's just totally. Musa did this, and that's just wrong.
Yeah. So you say you went to child three, 11
Yeah.
years old, 4 feet and a half,
Mm-hmm.
50
Mm-hmm.
pounds, decayed teeth,
Mm-hmm.
malnutrition, serious anemia, bruises all over the whole body. And like you said, yeah, he did that. He did that.
He was in court basically denying all that. My kids, they ate
He
all the
said no to
time.
everything. Everything
Yeah.
that they asked, he said no to it.
Yeah.
No, I didn't do that, or I don't know nothing about that.
Yeah. I
I
don't know
didn't
where
do
they
it.
get. I don't know where they get that from. They're lying.
Boy, like I said, when you speak about it, the other stuff we went through was funny because
Yeah.
it's just crazy. I don't know. I don't know. It was like the total opposite. I wish it was the way that he was talking.
I know,
Um,
right? He
I
had the.
wish it
I
was like
want to say
that.
this right quick. He said he gave y'all allowances.
Never,
That was I took him to the movies and everything. Yeah, right.
never, never, and bought pizza and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, that's a pipe dream. That's like after the aftermath. You wish you would have did what was right because now you up under the lock and key, and so you coming up with all that stuff now. You know.
Yep.
And so I'm just like, this is horrific to have a child 11 years old
Mm-hmm.
and 4 feet and a half inches tall, 50 pounds. And when we mentioned because we're up to child three, decayed teeth, he didn't
Mm-hmm.
allow us to have any toothbrushes. And that was one thing that Julie Baldwin asked all of us, did we own toothbrushes? Remember when we was reading through
Mm-hmm.
Minds and
Yep.
Tiffany
Yep.
Sharon's no, we didn't. They would have us put toothpaste on our hand and put it in our mouth and use our finger to clean our teeth. Tiffany stuff, I'm still not over because last week, we speak about Tiffany. The way Tiffany spoke up in there, I'm just like, mm-mm.
Mm.
That was
Yeah.
something else right there.
It was.
I'm
It was
just
very
like,
good.
I mean, it was just nonstop. And they tried to trick her up a little bit, but nope.
It didn't work.
And it was some things that he did. Like I said, it's still a lot. You want to say it. It's just still a lot. It was some
Yeah.
things that he
It's
did.
still trying to process all of it just from reading it. And then trying to put it together as we talk because we don't want to give too much because we're still, like I said, we're dissecting everything to present it. But
Yeah.
mm, okay, child 4, 14 years old, 4 feet, 55 pounds, decayed teeth, chipped tooth, malnourished, bruises covered whole body. Mm.
Mm,
Child 5, 16 years old, 5 feet, 60 pounds, bruises on face, all over body, malnourished, decayed teeth, severe anemia. Mm. Okay, now this is crazy right here. Child 6,
yeah.
18 years old, 54 pounds, 5 feet, decayed teeth, severe anemia, bruises cover whole body, face, bruise abdominal.
Yep.
So that's like that tore me up. We was
Yep.
reading about that, and there's other stuff with this one right here,
Yeah.
but
Company
like so
with
we're
that.
not gonna say it. Just
Yeah.
man, reading and what I found out about other stuff, I'm like, wow. I mean,
But remember when we was talking
mm-hmm,
and we was telling you some of the things that we was going through, you said,
mm-hmm.
I know because he did the same thing to me.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, it's
A
it's like a
lot of
it's
the
like it's like
stuff.
a picture. It's like it's
Yeah.
the same.
Yeah, a
So when y'all
cycle.
talk to me, I'm not like, you see my case stuff. You seen it.
Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's
I
crazy.
see.
And we was reading some stuff he did to me. You was stuff that I didn't
Mm-hmm.
know. Stuff that I
Yep,
didn't know that he
yep,
did to me because I
yep,
was
yep.
I was a
It's
baby.
some stuff that's beyond me that you would
Yeah.
do. It's just it's
I mean,
foul.
I was
Some
a
stuff
baby, y'all. I'm saying I wasn't even a year old, put it to you that way. And the stuff that he was doing, it was like,
4 months, 4 months.
yeah,
Started
it
at
hit
four
me in my
months
head.
old.
4 months old. And the stuff that you was reading that he was doing, I know you didn't read it all, but you seen all that stuff in there, and it's crazy.
And sometimes, you want to know. The thing is that I wanted to know. And it was one of the
Hmm.
things I kept saying over and over again, because I know we kept talking. So I got to know what's in them transcripts because none of us was present in court when each other was testifying. But when
Hmm.
you look at all of our testimonies, starting from Lakeisha all the way down to the twins, all of our testimonies match. All of us. All of not match like identical, but they're spoken the same way but in different details.
Yeah.
you know. And I'm just like, you can't tell me there's no way. And nobody in there, none of our siblings said that they ever saw our father beat her up. We was all asked. None of
Yeah.
us never saw it. Nobody in the house saw it.
Every last one of y'all said it. So they never
Nobody.
saw it. Yeah.
Nobody.
All right.
Nobody.
A
So
child 7, 19 years old, 58 pounds, broken arm, bruised toes, decayed teeth, severe anemia. That's crazy.
when you say
Yeah, that's
broken arm and bruised toes,
hmm
um, we've experienced having broken arms and hands, you and me.
yeah,
So have some
my
of our
leg
other
too.
siblings.
Yeah, a
And
swollen
having to
leg.
wear a cast
Yep, you're right. You're
and
right.
the bruised toes,
Laura
we'll give
stole
it
that
to
for her
her.
son.
She filled that part for her son. So
I'll let you do the rest because you
so
good with it.
the person that testified in this case on me and my siblings' behalf concerning the abuse that took place uh physically, it was Dr. Claire Sheridan, and she's a doctor that specialized in children ages, I think she said from birth to 18,
Hmm.
19, 21 years old. And so she's very skilled, and she testified about that. She testified where she got her degree from, which a lot of stuff I'm not gonna mention because we're putting some things together on that. She testified on our behalf in this case on the statute of children who was severely abused for years. For years. The older children in the home reports will come later. This is just a glimpse of what has to come
Hmm.
that we're
And then
telling you
she and then Dr. Claire Sheridan, she said she's never seen any case. She's seen bad cases, but no case severe like this ever. And she said it was like being in a third world country,
Yep,
or a war torn country. She's never seen nothing like this.
yep, yep. And Laura stated that too because she got it
Yeah.
out of the transcripts in an interview. She said it was like like the kids over in Africa, how they're starving.
Hmm.
She said that's how they looked. So she stated that, and she got out the transcripts, but she didn't say it like from her own mouth, her own words. She actually took every word out of Dr. Claire Sheridan's mouth, and she spoke about it.
Yeah.
So,
I believe somebody was feeding her this information.
yep. Or either
Yeah.
like the DA said, she tricked some personnel and she got a hold of stuff that she wasn't supposed to have. There he goes, right on time,
Hmm.
right on time,
Uh
burglar.
Hello. Yeah, I'm the burglar here. That's how I
oh.
got the conversation.
Yep,
I
right
guess.
on
See the
time.
question mark. Don't take it serious. The burglar's not. I'm gonna go steal all your
I think it's
Yo,
from
why did Dan
Vietnam.
call him a burglar? Yo, why did Dan
fines.
call you the burglar?
He said he was the
That
burglar.
that was
I don't
dirty.
know what he was talking about. A burglar that break in house or the
Me
burglar,
either.
the Ronald McDonald burglar guy.
Hamburger. Huh? I don't. Hey.
I don't know which one, the hamburger burglar or something like that.
Yeah, he's
I
good
don't
coming
know
up
which
with some
one.
doozy. He come up with some all kind of stuff. I guess he had a handle for everybody. Everybody's throwing up under the bus. I'm like, he threw everybody up under the bus.
Mm-hmm.
It
You
was
know.
foul, wasn't it?
It
Yeah,
was. It
It
that's
was.
was foul.
hey, except the other abusers, right?
Yeah, he did. You're right.
Right. And see, the thing about it is that if you throw everybody up under the bus except the other abusers, that means you don't want to throw them up under the bus because they're gonna reveal more stuff on you. They're gonna pull the covers farther back on them. So that's what I'm thinking. Why he didn't do that? I'm like, the burglar. I'm like, boy, anything to turn me into a straw man, discredit me, character
Yep.
assassination. At his best.
Yeah. So what we was discussing before you got on, because I know you want to come in with the psychosocial situation.
Yeah.
We was talking about this. Well, we just talked about 7 of the children, but we're not mentioning male or female or
Right.
names or anything. So we just was talking about child 7, 19 years old, 58 pounds, broken arm, bruised toes, decayed teeth, severe anemia. And so then we got off into how Dr. Claire Sheridan testified on all of our behalves of the nature of the health of everybody in the home. So we only got off into just 7 because there's so much that we only can speak about right now
Right.
till we finish dissecting
Right. So
everything
you
else.
basically talked about 7 different victims and what happened to them. I mean, what they were at, the percentiles where they're at in their growth.
Mm-hmm.
And, because it's funny, because I remember back then when we heard Dr. Claire Sheridan use the term psychosomatic dwarfism,
Mm-hmm.
and I was thinking like, whoa, what is that? And not to be funny, but to be funny. You think it's about, okay, who you got? Who we coming up with? We coming with Snow White and the 7 Dwarfs or something? But here, on a more serious note, we're talking about children. And, with this term. So this term, at that time, it has grown since then. It has expanded, but it's been around for quite a long time. And really to expound on that, it's a term that it went under a whole lot of a lot of different other terms, meaning the exact same thing under condition. In medical literature, you'll see it referred to several times, and it describes the phenomenon of psychological distress causing physical growth failures. And the emphasis is psychological distress causing physical growth. So you have the psychological affecting the physical health of an individual. So that's why both of these, they're spoke about, the way that it's talked about, not directly, but indirectly in the diagnostic statistical manual of mental health disorder, DSM-5, and the later version of the latest edition, and the international diagnosis for medical stuff, for physical.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and it's funny, but I mean, it's a deep situation. So if you're ready for me, I'll go ahead with it.
Okay, we're ready.
Okay,
but before you started, I wanted to finish discussing the other 3 so that could connect to it.
Okay.
Okay, so these transcripts doesn't have any detailed injuries that Lord Cowing suffered whatsoever. They don't have any type of detailed information on anything she suffered. The judge actually threw out a lot of charges on things that she was saying that happened to her because it was just based off of hearsay with no evidence. Now, there was evidence on all of us.
Mm-hmm.
And also her son being malnutrition, that was thrown out because he was 5 years old and he weighed 63 pounds and he was 4.5 inches tall. Now compare a 5-year-old to a 19-year-old weighing 58 pounds, and being 5 feet. with a broken arm, bruised toes, decayed teeth, and severe anemia. None of this stuff was explained in those transcripts concerning any of her children. So none of this stuff happened. What she did, like we stated before and many times before, that she's piggybacking off of things that happened to all of us. And so um the getting back to Dr. Claire Sheridan's perspective, actual evidence, absolutely not one lie was told about Musa's kids here. It was evidence, and the evidence was presented, to the courts.
Hmm.
So, and there was pictures present as well. And that's why I guess that's why they didn't want us in the courtroom, because like Cammie was telling me, they don't want to re-victimize victims, and that's why I think they had all of us testify separately. And then those pictures and those bruises, they didn't want us to see that. They wanted us to testify and visually tell what happened. And so that's what everybody did. And this is a fact, like I said again, to our family out there, is that, he's not telling the truth to the ones that he's been dishonest with and that he's lied to. All of the facts are there. And the kids, they ain't lie, and they not always lying. It's true what he did. Also, I also want to state this before you start. One of our uncles did investigate Laura because he has some background in that, and he had a right to do that for a lot of reasons. And his findings was in fact true, where he discovered, and this is me talking from the transcripts, where he discovered that there is an article with her face on it. And we might got to go back through the archives. So you Cleveland people that's watching, maybe you guys need to go find this article from 1996 in the Press Enterprise of Laura Cowing doing identity fraud.
Mm.
And so he came across that. And the last thing I wanted to mention is that the lies that Laura told about children's, her stomach protruding and her children's stomach being extended. She took that portion of that story from Dr. Claire Sheridan's perspective on how we all was literally dying.
Mm-hmm.
You kept saying we was dying. We was dying in there, Dr.
Actually,
Phil.
this is true.
Yeah.
That's what the doctor
Right,
said.
because there's no medical evidence to support anything against her children. None.
No.
Matter of fact, they ruled it out. Everything that they checked out ruled it totally out for anything happened to her, which, like I said, we'll get into later what we're talking about, what was ruled out, and because we're talking about developmental disorder, and it's a name for it. And we'll get off into the names of it and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Once you're ready.
Okay, so you can go ahead and start with the.
Okay, getting right into the situation, psychosocial dwarfism is the most common term used today, but it has other names and other facets of it. You have deprivation dwarfism, which focuses on the lack of care for a child. Then you have psychosomatic dwarfism, focuses on the mind-body connection. So it correlates how this happens, how this affects the mind and the body. And we're going to get to that. And we're talking about, and everything we're talking about here, and we're talking about what happened to the brothers and the sisters of the perpetrator. Now, we have hypothalamic short stature, focusing on the usual eating behaviors often seen in children in these circumstances. The term psychosomatic, the word psychosomatic is a Greek word. So the word psyche has to do with the mind, and soma has to do with the body. So you have that correlation, that connection of the two. It is used because the disorder is the ultimate example of a mental state creating a physical change. And so now, let me get back to over here. And, deprivation dwarfism also known as psychosocial dwarfism, is a rare but profound condition where extreme emotional deprivation or psychological trauma causes a child's physical growth to slow or stop entirely. Unlike most forms of dwarfism, it is not caused by genetics or malnutrition alone, but by the body's hormonal response to a severely stressful environment. Here's how it occurs: the condition is a physical manifestation of severe neglect or emotional abuse. The process typically involves growth hormone suppression. High level stress causes the hypothalamus to stop signaling the pituitary gland to release growth hormones. Now, the stress response, constant activation of the fight or flight system, elevated cortisol can interfere with the metabolic process required for bone and tissue growth. Digestive mal absorption, malabsorption. In some cases, the stress is so severe that the child's body cannot properly absorb nutrition from food, even if they are eating enough calories. So, so some of the key characters are stunt growth. Children are significantly shorter and lighter than their peers, often below the third percentile. Two, delayed development. This involves delayed motor skills, speech, and skeletal age. Three, behavior symptoms. Children may exhibit unusual eating habits, phalangia, disturbances, or social withdrawal. Three, reversibility. A unique feature of this condition is that if the child is removed from the stressful environment and placed in a nurturing, safe home, the growth hormone levels often return to normal almost immediately, catch up, leading to catch up growth.
And you
And
know what?
go ahead.
Excuse me.
Go ahead. Yeah.
That was something that we'll discuss that probably later, but I'm just going to mention this. When you said that, there was a big change. And so we'll get into the change later
Oh
after
yeah,
everybody was removed out of
right.
the home
And I know you
immediately.
spoke about it before. You're talking about, and they were giving what do we call that? This oh,
The
my
the
brain out.
hormone shots, whatever.
Hormone,
Hormone
yeah, there you
treatments.
go. Hormone
Yeah,
therapy, yeah, hormone therapy, yes,
yeah.
and that changed. And so we see that right there, and we see this
But
actually
I'm
happening.
gonna mention this one thing.
And
One
and
of the
Dr. Claire, hold on a second. And Dr. Claire Sheridan, she mentioned that when they got out of the home and she looked at some of them and she was mentioning what you're talking about.
what really shocked her, I'm gonna just mention this one thing. One of the children that was 14, that was removed out of the home, that was 50 pounds, 4 inches tall, and was severely abused and had severe anemia. She saw him after a month, and that child had gained 13 pounds in a month.
Hmm.
So I don't know how Musa can talk his way out of this one and just sit and say he didn't do anything, or tell family members, "Oh, I didn't do anything." That they're lying. That somebody just made it up, and it's not hard. I mean, you can ask, and I'm very open. You can ask, and I'll just tell you that nobody lied. That stuff really happened, especially when you got facts and proof, to show it.
Mhm.
So
Mm.
Right.
that right there, what you just mentioned, that how things they change when
Yeah.
children are removed out of the position, it
And
changes.
It
and
goes
Hannah,
back to
I
normal.
know, and Hannah, I know that you were around them, so you saw the change
You
yourself.
know, the
And
crazy
how,
part is
how
this.
did you
Yeah.
how did that affect you? It make you see stuff because you saw the change and them growing and
Right.
stuff.
And I saw the stunted growth because
Yeah.
I had stepped away for like 4 years, 4.5, almost 5 years. And when I came back, they were the same size, had the same clothes on. And I said, wait just a minute. This was like they were kept in suspended animation when I saw them. And I asked him, I said, man, what's going on? I'm like, here, these kids haven't grown anything. He said, they're angels. And I was like, no, this is just the kind of stuff he comes up with the shenanigans. And I was like, yeah, Malakis, they're special. They have this. I was like, man, look, like something's going. So seeing that, and then also seeing them grow.
Wait. Go back to the part. He told you we was angels.
He said, they were angels. They've been blessed by Allah. They're in this perfect state, and I was like, I mean,
yo,
that's crazy. You said that because we ain't angels now.
Yeah. That's what he
angels.
Said. Wow. That's why he covered it up. I was just like, man, what the hell? And I'm like, this is some crazy stuff. And he said, no, that's not their clothes. That's not their clothes. The boys came to me and said, yes, Hannah, it is our clothes. These are the same clothes, the same kufi, because they were handmade. Some of it was stitched and sewn and what he knitted and all that kind of stuff. I was like, no, I was like 5 years, the same stuff. It was that was that one right there. I looked at that. I was like, I'm still at a loss for words to describe when I saw it what I felt. I was just blown away, utterly shocked. And when he said that, I was just like, man, I know you're lying. There's something's really going on.
And for me, when y'all came to Virginia and I saw everything, my mind was like, okay, what's going on? And I tried to feed y'all.
Yeah.
And Dad got mad.
Yeah. Well, like I told you, traveling there, it was hard. When I think about it, going back, it was hard traveling there. It was hard to get a meal, go to the bathroom, eat, get a good night's sleep. It was just nothing but scared all the time, And then once we got there and we around family, because knowing the way our family is, go get some food, go get some Kentucky
go in the refrigerator, give me this,
go in and make them some sandwiches. What he did, he coached all of us. Don't ask your mother's parents for no food. Tell them no, thank you. You already ate. And the same thing with his parents. Don't speak to them. Don't say nothing to them. You want to give your grandparents hugs. You want to be around your aunts and uncles, your cousins, get to know them and stuff. But it was just different for us. He didn't allow us that.
He didn't even let y'all around me like that. He was trying to block me from being around y'all.
Yep.
It's crazy.
Yeah, he had all kind of stunts.
Yeah.
Everything he could be conniving to cover up.
And then the thing is that what I don't like, because not getting off the topic that we was on, but what I didn't like is that when we speak about stuff like this and then we look into the transcripts and we read it, he still has the same mentality now.
Mm-hmm.
He's still like that.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like our advocate mentioned earlier today, don't wait around for them to change. Don't wait around. Because the person was like that all along. And you can't spend your life waiting around. Oh, I'm waiting for this person to change. You can't do that. And it just, like I said, it when you speak about that, Hannah, and you too, Rick, it just brings back up stuff of us looking into these transcripts and stuff. Just how he had an answer for every lie he told, and he was lying.
No matter how ridiculous it was, he just was.
Yeah, and it was like we're sitting there, and you could tell from reading the transcripts that you can put yourself. You know how you reading a book and you can put yourself in the setting. You could tell while we was reading the transcripts. I'm sitting there reading them, and it's like deja vu. Like I'm sitting there. Everybody, you could tell everybody in the room was quiet because he went on and on and on and on with nothing but lies for like 15, 16 pages. And I'm just like, nobody intervened and stopped him. And he said some terrible stuff. And that's why I was telling you and Hannah, do he not know what he was doing when he was sitting there? Maybe he did, because he probably thought
he definitely does.
But he said some stuff that was really foul. Yeah. It was terrible. And it was like, one of the things is to say, call your son a klepto. And then when his attorney stopped him, he said, when you say klepto, are you saying kleptomaniac? He said, yeah, he was a kleptomaniac.
He
So
the
I'm saying,
klepto.
yeah,
And
I'm
then
saying those type of names right there that you had to endure, that type of stuff right there. Just listening to him, I'm like, I mean, how could you do something like that?
you
And,
know,
and he's never gonna wake up. He's never gonna see how we felt, and he's never gonna see our side because you know why? He's been doing it for so long, and he's older now. He don't care. He'll die that way
yeah,
if he don't repent and change his life. And I know a lot of our siblings said that they still got love for him, and that's all good. I don't. And pray for him. I don't. He ain't prayed for none of us. He ain't asked none of us for forgiveness. He hasn't repented. If he repented, he would have changed. And he ain't changed. He's still the same person.
yeah,
So I'm just like, I mean, and the older he gets, if he lives to be up in his 90s, he gonna get worse. He's gonna get worse.
yeah. Yeah, I think he's at a stage, I mean, at the end of the road, at the level, tertiary level, where change is possible but highly improbable from the
Mhm.
heinousness of things that he has done, and the length that he has done it, and the callousness, you know, the all the different lies and stuff that he has told. I mean, it's like Aesop fables. This guy, he doesn't just have a fairy tale. He has a catalog, encyclopedia volumes of this stuff that he's been dealing with. And so that's a lot of stuff. And so when you think spiritually, hey, if you can stay away from the most heinous crime, because once you get off into that heinous phase, you're in a whole nother category.
Somebody told me yesterday, I think it was Adoria's godmother. She said when you get older, you change. You grow up, you stop doing certain things. And it don't matter, what it is, but you change.
Or
And
you get worse, you know?
Mhm.
no, this is just what she was saying,
Yeah.
that that's what you're supposed to do with
Yeah,
age,
yeah, right. That's
is you
exactly, yeah.
change. He hasn't changed at all. He's the carving copy of himself that we all knew growing up as kids. He
Right.
hasn't moved at all. He's like isolated in one position. He's stagnant. I'm going to have it my way, whether they like it or not. And this is the way I'm going to keep hurting them, is I'm going to stay in denial.
Well, it's like this. He stagnated y'all, and then he's being stagnated, and he's being
Yeah,
stuck in that mindset
yeah,
like that. He did that to
yeah,
himself.
yeah. And like I said the other day, we were speaking. I'm hoping that this is the time that he was put away, that this is going to give him time to think about all the stuff that he did. He's not thinking about anything he did. You know what he's thinking about? How he could cause harm to people. That's what he's thinking about. How he can hurt people and how he could continue to say that he was set up. Be mad, like I said on the stand. Be mad at Laura because she the one who set you up when it came to her. Be
Mhm.
mad at her. Don't be mad at us because you did all those things.
Yeah. You know, as I go through the stuff, it's gonna really trigger a lot of different response because you went through this stuff. And if you want to interject this, at any point in time, please do so.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Because that's what the thing is. Because I'm saying we're doing this as we talked about. We want to educate people, so people
Right.
that can see this kind of stuff out there, they'll have some coping skills. They have some kind of knowledge, just to shred on. If it's just one thing, they'll be able to see it. They say something wrong here. So when that red flag goes up, because all these different signs that you guys are saying, because victims they know that they've been through it and they can spot it out like a sore thumb at this point. You can look at somebody for a hot second. Okay, I know what's going on here because I've seen these signs. And see, people that have it, because experience is the best teacher. Experiential is one thing. Then we have evidence based stuff like that, which comes from experience also. That people learn from stuff. So, I'm gonna continue with this and coming across this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So when something triggers you for a response,
Mm-hmm.
let's get to it. Let's get after it. Deprivational dwarfism or psychosomatic dwarfism is not listed in the DSM-5, but it is considered a physiological manifestation or a physical complication of other conditions that are in the manual. Here's how it is categorized in the context. You have a reactive attachment disorder, or RAD, or RAD. The DSM-5 talks about deprivation dwarfism is the most closely associated with reactive attachment disorder. The DSM-5 notes that children with reactive attachment disorder have experienced a pattern of extreme or insufficient care, neglect, or frequent changes in caregivers. While RAD, which is reactive attachment disorder, focuses on the emotion and behavior symptoms, the manual acknowledges that these children often show physical signs of neglect, including stunted growth. Rumination disorder, number 2. Some of the eating behaviors associated with psychosocial dwarfism, such as regurgitation or unusual food seeking, and we know about the regurgitation, and the individuals that were, how some of the siblings had that situation, or unusual seeking food may fall under feeding and eating disorder. But these do not capture the hormonal growth suppression aspect. Clinicians have often used codes, Z codes, and anyway. Now these codes, they're for physical symptoms and for the document the environment factors causing these physical symptoms actually. And these symptoms are the child physical abuse, child neglect, child psychological abuse. Now, classification in the ICD, different from the DSM-5, which is dealing with the mental part of it, and the ICD, we're dealing with the International Classification of Diseases. So this is the physical part of what happens here. While it is a primary entry in the DSM-5, while it isn't a primary entry in the DSM-5, which focuses on mental health, it is recognized more directly in medical coding manuals like the International Classification of Diseases. It's categorized under secondary growth hormone deficiency, where the deficiency is caused by psychosocial factors, and reactive attachment disorder. Now, the DSM focuses on the psychological causes, the neglect, psychological causes, the neglect or trauma, while the physical result, the dwarfism, stunted growth, is treated as a medical consequence of a pediatric would document in a physical health record rather than in a psychiatric one. You see the difference?
Yeah.
And and that reminds, because during the time when she mentioned psychosomatic dwarfism back during the trial and stuff like that, and we were saying, hold it, it's not in the DSM-5. And that was one of the defenses that he tried to use. Remember that his attorney said, well, it's not a recognized disease and this, that, and other. But that's not how it goes, because because it's a physical one. It's not in the DSM-5, because what happens, the psychological effect, what happened to him is, but the physical part that caused him is in this, international classification of diseases, medical thing.
But yes. Remember also during the trial when we went to the preliminary hearing and she was there, she diagnosed the shorter siblings with psychosocial dwarfism, psychosomatic dwarfism.
Psychosomatic dwarfism, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Right. And so that's what they tried to get away from. Remember?
But the judge threw it out because he said that's being prejudiced because they don't have features. You got some.
Oh, okay. Who are you talking about now?
I'm talking about our siblings.
Your siblings, okay.
The Dr. Claire Sheraton tried to say that they was dwarfs.
Right.
In other words.
Right. Okay.
And so what happened? Right. The judge said, no, we're going to throw that out because that's being prejudiced, and he didn't want to do that because he said it was going to have some effect on the children in life to say that they was dwarfs, because they did. they have people that's born with small
Tiny
features.
people. They call them tiny people, for instance.
Yeah, tiny people. Yeah. So they have tiny hands, feet. They're not
Right.
normal size like my hands, right?
Right.
So they had normal size hands, but it was just the growth was stunted and the bone growth, like you said, all the density, blood,
Mhm.
glands, all of that stuff, it was just stunted due to lack of nutrition. And so he threw that out. And the reason why he threw it out is because he had updates on all of them, on how everybody was doing. So you couldn't put that in there and say that it was they was dwarfs or was
Right.
dwarfism, because I mean the social part you can, but the
Yeah, the
dwarfism part,
psychological stuff. Yeah, but
yeah,
exactly. I think she just kind of termed it wrong because when the dwarfism part, that's not the physical health problem that happened to them, but it was other physical health problems that happened to them.
right, right.
And
That's
Mhm.
because I'm saying, you know, I mean, when you connect it, psychosocial dwarfism and physical health is a stark example of the mind-body connection. It demonstrates how a psychological state can bypass willpower and directly alter the endocrine system and regulate physical stature. And I think I think they would have like stunted growth. That's kind of what we're dealing with instead of dwarfism. It stunted the growth for a while until
Mhm.
everything got back normal and things started changing, getting back. So they weren't, didn't have the short arms and legs and stuff like that, of dwarfism. When a child's in a state of extreme emotional deprivation, the brain enters a chronic survival mode.
Yep.
This causes a physical logjam in the body's growth machinery. Hypothalamus suppression. The hypothalamus, the brain's coordination center, perceives the environment as unsafe. It stops producing growth hormone and releasing hormone. It stops producing growth hormone, releasing hormone. The growth hormone pauses. Without GHR, growth hormone, release hormone, the pituitary gland stops creating growth hormones, even if the child is eating. The body essentially refuses to grow because it is redirecting all energy towards surviving the perceived threat. And that's deep right there. So it's redirecting everything towards this psychological, what's happened to them psychologically and mental, psychologically in their brain, to keep them like we're going to try to keep their brain functioning, from,
Mhm.
from just going all the way out and then just losing total control. And it's funny because the body works that way. Say, okay, we stop the growth, but we want that brain acting. We're going to preserve that as much as possible. And that's the deep part right there. So we have gastrointestinal impact. Several anxiety, severe anxiety can cause the intestinal lining to become less efficient at absorbing nutrients, a condition called psychogenic uh, malabsorption. Now that in itself is a whole nother thing. That getting off into that. So you know, um, you have physical symptoms, psychological feedback loop. The physical symptoms of the disorder then feed back into the child's psychological state, often worsening condition, and it causes things like developmental lag because the child looks much younger or smaller than they are. Caregivers and peers may treat them like an infant. This stunts social and emotional maturation, reinforcing the helpless psychological state. Sleep disturbances. Growth hormone is primarily released during deep sleep. However, children in high stress environments often suffer from insomnia or fragmented sleep, which prevents the little growth hormone they do have from being utilized. Cognitive delays. The same hormonal.
Excuse
Yes,
me.
go ahead.
When you mentioned that you during all the stunning of the growth and the starvation and all that, the children can be perceived as looking a different
Infant,
age,
like
and
infants, yeah.
it breaks that down what
Mhm.
age each child looked like. Now
Yeah.
Sharon had
Mm.
testified that we
The
was at a
stunts.
park one time or at a mosque somewhere, but we was out somewhere, And Sharon testified and told Dad's attorney that he told me to tell some lady that I was 7 years old, and I wasn't. I was 15.
Yeah.
And so
Mm.
growing up, I recall that because of everybody looking so young and all that, I think he felt ashamed. And I know he knew exactly what he was doing. So he would
It
do
wasn't a
that.
shame. He was trying to cover.
I
Cover
know
his
that,
tracks.
but I'm saying that was his
Yeah.
cover.
Yeah.
That was his cover. And the thing about it, he would lie, and he would tell you to tell people, "Oh, I'm this age or I'm that age." Because
Right.
did you believe when you saw our brothers and stuff that they was the age that they was?
I knew better. I was like, I knew their age and I knew something was going on
Mm-hmm.
because this is not no normal thing, you know. And I don't know. He's trying to act like, well, my whole house has been preserved in suspended animation as the world goes on. We're
No,
standing right here.
he
Well,
had
Hannah, what you thought you went to a time warp when you got back?
look,
I was like, what the hell?
look,
Yeah.
everything
I
that
might
you
as well. I
read.
started getting a DeLorean and crank up the
Yeah, yeah, the
you know,
flux capacitor.
what's capacity. Yeah, there we go. There we go. Call the doc like, man, what's happening? Wait.
Look, everything that you read, he
Yep.
had an excuse for all of those questions in there. He had an excuse for that. He
Mm-hmm.
had an excuse. It was either blaming, I mean, it's just bad. I ain't even gonna say too much, but it was blaming genetics. It was using families' genetics.
Yeah, and it was
And
wrong too.
it was a lie and it was
Hmm.
wrong.
Hmm.
And any of our aunts and uncles or cousins that's tuning in to watch, if you're gonna watch, just be aware of the things that he said, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. You know, the switch mechanism, correlation and recovery. The most compelling evidence of this correlation is what happens during recovery. This is often referred to as a catch up growth.
Mm-hmm.
And we've seen that happen because I know you talked about it the other day and
Yeah.
how the catch up growth, on the show and how that happened. And so here's the situation. Here's some of the actions, and we'll talk about, and then we'll go into the physical correlation and the psychological correlation. Okay, action is removal from stress. Physically, cortisol stress hormone levels drops, which is stress hormones, cortisol. That stress hormone levels drop significantly. So so the physical, that's in the physical. So what's happening? And so that changes things. Psychological correlation, the brain's threat detection begins to calm down. It's not in that constant fight or flight situation. Now, nurturing care. Now, what happens to physical correlation is that when nurturing care, what it does, the hypothalamus resumes signaling the pituitary gland. Now, psychologically, it increases, it's increased whoa, what? Like oxytocin levels promote feelings of safety and bonding. Now, hormonal surge. Growth hormonal levels can spike to several times the normal rate. These are the physical corrections. So they can have it can spike it. They just like, pew, they just
Hmm.
shoot up, and like that's something else. And then the psychological, the child often experience a rapid leap in cognitive and social skills. They're like, boom, they're like, wow, what they went off the charts. And that's interesting. And that's something that's positive to think about. And this condition is called biopsychosocial cycle. The psychological environment dictates the hormonal biological output. That biological output then determines the child's physical stature and energy levels, which in turn influences how they interact with their environment. In short, the body's biology acts as a minor to the child's psychological safety. I mean, excuse me, as a mirror. Let me state that. In short, the body's biology acts as a mirror to the child's psychological safety. Now, we was wondering, do all these things, these conditions, are they evidence based? I was wondering, and yes,
Yeah.
these conditions are evidence based with research dating back over 60 years. The validity of the diagnosis rests on a condition of clinical observations, endocrinology, hormone science, and natural experiments where children are moved from stressful to nurturing environments. And so we get off into some of these places of how how the research was conducted. And so one was in 1962 by Let Gardner and Robert Patton. And when I saw the name Robert Patton, I was thinking like he was in Patton Hospital. And Patton Hospital.
Yeah, he was.
I was thinking like, okay, so it's funny how stuff happens, how stuff correlates, and anyway, they use different diagnoses to rule out genetics and maturation. They found that these children often lived in homes with severe emotional coldness or rejection, leading to the first formal links between the psyche and the endocrine system. So I don't want to get too deep into that, but
Yeah, but everything that you read, that's just how she spoke about it.
Mm-hmm.
She broke down a lot of that stuff, and then she explained why everything happened per child. She explained.
Right. But I did want to touch upon this last part. Now, psychosomatic dwarfism is often a term used exactly the same condition. Now, okay, I think we did that. Okay. Why the term psychosomatic? Nope, I did that. I did that. Oh, yeah, I think I prefaced it with that. So, a different form is failure to thrive. And failure to thrive. And I know somebody talking about with thrivers and survive. What was that term?
Thrivers and survivors.
Yeah, thrivers and survivors, So, but if they've been to this, they'd have a, failure to thrive. Psychosomatic dwarfism is essentially a specific severe subtype of failure to thrive. While failure to thrive can be caused by many things like heart defects or digestive issues and simple poverty, starvation, psychosomatic dwarfism is specifically reserved for cases where the growth failure is caused by the psychological environment and the resulting hormonal shutdown. So, all this, correlates because everything in here, we could just go through everything, all these different things that you went through. All the things that happened to the victims of the perpetrator's children. Once again, this only happened to the perpetrator's children. Other children from Laura Cowan didn't have this situation. They don't have any information. They talked about during the trial with any of these things happening. And so, and that's one of the big differences of what you see the difference in how, what was happening to different children, to his own children compared to her, and how with her situation, some of the things that she did, how it exposes all these different lives. Nothing was happening to her. She was normal weight, and she was, and then some. And then she was identity theft, and she has so much stuff going on. And this is a pattern with her in other relationships. So she's done that many different relationships. And you can bet, well, we already know she's doing it now. They got a movie showing it. They're exposing all the different lies that, that the court records totally debunk all this crap that went on that she said happened during the movies and all these different interviews and all this other different kind of crap that she's out there spewing. So the record is out there because she has even cooled the pages of the court files and information, and said that's what happened to her, but she doesn't have any kind of diagnosis or anything like that, evidence base to
But
support those claims.
like I said, is that it was what was good for her about having the transcripts is that she took them and she used all of us. That's how she was able to get those Cleveland-based people to believe her. That's how she was able to get on TV shows, and they made a movie because she was able to use us. She didn't show them. She should give them the whole packet of her transcripts. And she should give them all the evidence where all of us testified against her to what she did. Yeah. That's what she should be doing.
Yeah. Yeah, because she did a lot of stuff.
And she's not doing that.
Yeah. So, why? And then, they were thinking about charging her. And then if they charged her, then it would ruin the case for him.
No, I was just saying that I felt like that they knew, because they had so much evidence that came up out of that home that came from her, all fingers pointing at her, right? But I think when they looked at her background, they was like, oh no, we got to do something, because we can't have two people on trial. Because see, he was already
being tried. Yeah, you can have two people on trial.
But that's not the way they was playing it. For some reason, from what I read, they was playing it like this. From my understanding, reading it, is that there was no way they was gonna put her away because she wrote a 26-page letter. She took pictures and she recorded all those cassettes. And so they looked at her as, she's giving us something, so we're going to give her her freedom and let her walk free. They didn't care that she had did anything. I'm just saying.
So she might not have had a specific immunity that was on paper, but they probably just told her, we're not going to push any charges against you if you do this.
Mm-hmm.
I know that they investigated her, and I know that they knew some things about her, because if they didn't, we wouldn't have known about all that stuff that's in them transcripts about. This is like a person, I don't even know if her name is really Laura Cowan.
And there we go.
I don't even know if her name is that, because of the severity of how she was using other people's identities. And then when you find out that there's a 1996 article of her in a Press Enterprise paper of her using other people's identity, this was like one of her MOs. She was really good at changing names for herself and applying for different social security numbers and stuff too. She was doing that. Yeah. And then you got Musa sitting there, and she's online on a computer doing taxes. But while she's doing taxes, she has a big old thick book like this. And our uncle has seen the book as well. I've seen it. But she got a big book, and he testified that she's sitting there taking out card by card, stacks of cards, and she's typing in different names and social security numbers. Yeah. And this was the cover. She had a cover, because there's no way that you can have two businesses and receive welfare. Okay? She had mail. It was discovered going to her place of business, because Musa took her there. He stated in the transcripts, he found out that she had something shady. Both of them, I'm just letting you know. When you read the transcripts, both of them was doing things against each other. Okay? She was using family dynamic, his behavior, his abuse, and all that. He was using her behavior, abuse, and her past that she had of identity theft.
The reports of her abuse that she had against her own kid.
Yeah. And so nobody talks about.
Let me inject this in and say this, because all these things show by them not charging her, it's a miscarriage of justice for you victims that they didn't do that. Not that it's going to change anything in his situation or his case, because that's a done deal. With his things, he's already been proven, and it can be proven 10 times every day of the week. But with her, it needs to be proven it was wrong. There's no, because I'm saying we've talked with different DAs, different attorneys, different legal scholars, and they said it's no way that she should not have been charged. So
but
it's odd going
yeah.
on at that part right there.
But after reading those transcripts, now the next phase is finding out why was she able to commit all these crimes and was not charged.
Yeah,
That's just the next
against
thing.
children.
No, but that,
And see the thing, the crazy, but you know the good part about it, they never raised these crimes, which they should have.
no. I'm not talking about us right now. I'm talking about the welfare fraud. I'm talking about using all of our identities, using our uncle's identity, using our mother's identity, using different PO boxes, changing of her name, using different social security numbers, having reports filed on her through Eternal Affairs that our uncle did, reporting her to Social Security, district attorney's offices. That's the next thing, is to ask those questions. Why was she doing this and why wasn't she charged? Because like I said,
you know something, we've asked some of those questions until some of the current administration, and they were dumbfounded to wonder, I don't know.
Because you got to understand, when it happened, the trial been over for 15 years now. They wasn't there. That's why it's different to them. But the people that was there when that trial ended, they done retired, all those people. And that's why these new people that's in there, they're looking at it from our standpoint like those are wise questions that you're asking.
Yeah. But you know, it's still, even with that, it should have been, even during that time. You know, you think about the legal climate at the time. I don't know.
It should have been, but the thing is, you
because
look at
all the current laws at that time facilitated her being charged without beyond a reasonable doubt.
But there was no laws protecting her from the wrong that she was doing at all.
Yeah.
What protected her is that she turned over some evidence on somebody else. And that's what got him, because he was going to be convicted anyways. He was going to get in trouble anyway. But she turned over some evidence on him to save herself.
And that evidence.
There's no way that the stuff that we read in those transcripts about her, that she should be in prison now. Now, just using somebody's identity, one person could get you put away for some years. She did it to tons of people. There was this movie on Lifetime with Tammy Rahman where it was called The Children in the Basement. Have you seen that movie? I think we watched
I heard of it.
Yeah, during the pandemic. And what she was doing is she was kidnapping children. No, she was a foster mother. So she was taking in children and she was locking them in the basement, and she was taking their identities and their social security numbers, and she was going filing for
was that Felicia Rashad in that movie?
Yeah, she was in it too. And she was filing. She was the one that was She was filing. She was filing for social security and welfare. Right. And she reminds me of this movie because she had all of our look, the lady knew all of our, we didn't even go by those names. They were trying to legally change all of our names. We didn't even go by Crystal, Marcus, Marlon, Tiffany, Sharon, none of those names. Okay. We was known as Hasina Muhammad, Tiffany Muhammad, names like that, because they was trying to change all of our names. But they, for some reason, he couldn't change our names. She was going through things in the home, and she found all of our birth certificates, social security cards. She was seen with them. She was seen with them.
Yeah, because our uncle saw her with them. Yeah.
Yeah, she got a hold of all of this stuff, and we don't know what she's done. Like me and Richard was talking about, what she's done with our identities. Because you got to go back, like I was telling you before, when we was vacationing in Vegas at the timeshare, and we was there for a week, and it was us and a couple of our sisters and brothers. that went and their kids. And me and Nikosi got a call from the FBI and we was worried. And when I called them, because the neighbor told us, hey, all these agents is at your door. Somebody had went and bought a Maserati in my name, bought a car in Nikosi's name. I forget what kind, but bought some really extravagant vehicles. And somebody used our identity. And I can't think of nobody that would do something like that until we was reading this night before.
You think she still? Hey, she probably still has your information.
She could have sold it. She could have sold it to somebody.
Probably sold it to somebody. Sold it because they do that. They got crooks out there
on the dark web or something.
Numbers and they got people selling social security numbers and they getting thousands of dollars for it.
Yeah. Because you got people from these foreign countries, they get a hold of somebody's identity and they're like, okay, I'm gonna go buy a building. No telling what. I mean, buying jets.
Yeah.
Like, because once they purchase the jet and then probably transfer. Okay, I'm a ship it over here to this other country. It's gone. It's gone.
And so I'm just saying, it makes you go when you reading these files, like I was telling you and Rick, it makes you go back and think about things. And I thought about that when he stated in his testimony she was stealing identities of children in the home and had stole stuff. The stuff that she stole from him, I don't know how she had the gall. I mean, she took our identities, but the stuff
I know how she had the gall. Like she said, I was in there bucking. Remember that?
But what I'm saying is that I don't know how she was that big and bold to even do something.
Hey, you listen to like I see it all. Hey,
and he reported her to Internal Affairs, the FBI. He reported her to the local police department. It's a listing of agencies that she was reported to. So when she says that she wasn't involved in stuff and she didn't do anything wrong, them transcripts ain't lying. That stuff, I mean, to spend all that time, ain't no court
reporter. That's a lot of stuff. That stuff right there.
And the thing is, I was not even in court.
What was?
I was not even in court when she testified. Yeah. We finding out this stuff.
Why not? Oh yeah, they had you guys. Why they had you guys?
I don't think they wanted all of us together because I don't think
why. Yeah, I think so.
Because of the case, I don't think they wanted us listening to somebody else and copying their testimony. So they had everybody come in different dates and different times. We weren't even there when she testified. We wasn't there when our mom testified. We was there when they ended the trial. All of us was in the courtroom, but she wasn't even present. When Adrian wasn't even present.
And what did she do? How did she skip town after she testified? How fast she get up out of here?
According to our advocate, she flew in because she flew her in one night and she flew out the next day.
Somebody was feeding her that information. I'm telling you, it's no way.
They groomed her. Something they groomed her, prepared her for. They had to before she even got there. When they come there, we're gonna have you come here, and they probably say, "Well, what we got over on you. You know the deal we made.
So you gotta get up there and say you was scared. Yeah. You was in fear.
But the evidence don't even support. That's the crazy part. All the evidence, all the places.
I don't know how you can say
all the places you were talking about that she been to, and all the from the private investigators and information that they said that she did.
It's in there. I don't know how you can say that you were starved and there's no evidence. You got evidence of other people's family put up and you comparing yourself. That's delusional, don't you think? That you would take some children's pictures and put it up and then you don't have no evidence of this stuff happening to yourself and you look at their pictures and you feed it to the media that the same thing that happened to them happened to you, but there's no evidence of it. Don't you think people want to see
and that's the fallacy of logic. Tu quo qui. It happened to them, so it happened to me. And right then, it's like, no, it didn't have to happen to you like that. And as you know, because as I was saying, you were talking about all the different evidence of the places she went. Where she go get her nails done? She went to prenatal care, and all this different kind of stuff that she said she was stuck in place. I mean, she did everything. She was in
Well,
malls.
and then these Cleveland-based people, they trying to make things look a certain way that is not, because they don't want their covers blown, because all of them been lying too.
Hmm.
All of them been lying.
Yeah.
They got it. They. I know that they know. It's just not that simple that somebody just tell you something and you just believe them.
Well, I mean,
You gotta know.
if you're clout chasing, you're like, I'm clout chasing. Oh, this is a quick way. This is the fast track. I'll just regurgitate and say everything that they say. Go along right with it, and then just keep repeating it, and I'll be parroting, the same thing. Oh, do I know that it happened? Because all of them gonna pop up and say, "What evidence did you see?" I just believed her. Do you believe everything everybody says?
And that's what all of them are saying. I just believed her. All of them. That's all they say.
Everybody that we pretty much talked to, even the office manager over in Riverside, that when I first sat down with her, I was trying to talk to her, and I appreciate her work, and speaking to us and stuff. But sitting there, I couldn't just go along with the fact that you're saying that she listed 40, 50 different things that he did to her, and you telling me there's no evidence. There's some lies. There's some lies and 40 different things that you just say somebody did. That's why the other DA, it was more, I understood her more, because she said, no, it don't work that way. It doesn't work that way. And it didn't work out that way. And he was not charged that way. She said, you kids are the heroes. And that's why he was put away, because of what he did to you. So she's going around running with this story and then lying to somebody that me and Rick, we know, and you know him too, Hannah, but we're not going to mention his name personally, lying to this person saying that, oh, I was abused for 25 years, locked up, beat up by my husband, and I just ran away and came back to Cleveland.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And the person, they just like, oh, you said, okay, it sounded real because, and then when they found out, this person that we're talking about, when they found out, they were.
She got a lot of tricks up her sleeve. I'm going to tell you.
She got a lot.
The person is very livid about
you talking about a trick.
And he apologized to anything, and that's the difference.
You talking about a trick.
A lot of other
I don't know who's the biggest trick, her or Musa. I don't know which one.
Well, when you do evil, you get an evil partner. You got your evil consort. Evil begets evil.
Yeah,
that's how that goes.
Yeah, and I'm just like, on his part, he sit up and he says, "I documented this." Yep, but you didn't do anything with it.
No,
you allowed her. She left on her own free will. And you allowed her.
I mean,
keep coming back.
But how many times did he call the police? So he called. I mean, he called
many. But I'm saying not just that.
How many times did they say that he called the police? 20, 30 times.
A lot. But I'm saying
this is crazy. This whole situation.
But he allowed her to keep coming back, and she was leaving free will on her own.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm trying to figure out, why'd you keep letting her come back?
Yeah, I don't know. That one right there is just,
You kept letting this lady come back. Stoke, I mean, well, it's really
I know why.
Because he
was they always say a crook always returns to the scene of the crime. He kept returning to the same old thing over and over again.
And maybe that's why she kept returning, because she was probably thinking that,
why he was going back the same way she wanted to go back.
She wanted
to clean up all the evidence.
She wanted that money he's supposed to be getting.
Yeah.
I know about that.
That van.
Oh yeah. When that was on the table, she said, "I can't let this go."
Yeah, that's what it was.
And you know something? When he got arrested, he was days away from getting the money. Literally. They put a stop on it because I think it was mailed out or something. They short stopped it. They caught it somewhere. I don't know. Was that check mailed out or something? And they caught it somewhere.
I don't know.
It was. I know. I remember it was something that they was like he was right. They could have held out a little bit longer.
I don't know.
But me being the burglar, And I'm sitting around there wondering, I'm like, okay, this guy owes me money from a whole lot of situations. He's done some things, some vehicles. And at the time, so I'm being promised, hey, I'm gonna get this, I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna do that, And that was my whole premise for being around him. When I seen him, I'm like, okay, let me play this situation and see. I said, because he kept, I know I owe you. I'm gonna get you money. I got this going and I got that going. All the stuff that was happening on TV about the van being sprayed and all this other kind of stuff. And I thought it was real.
He really went hard when it came to you, which we're not gonna get into right now. But he tore your butt up in them transcripts. The stuff he was saying. He told
he kept saying Hannah. I'm like, what?
Every lie. He not just that, but he tricked.
Because it's so ridiculous,
But not just that, but he tricked people in your family, your precious mom. He tricked her because she said the same thing, that she couldn't believe that he did something like that, and she thought that he was charming and very smart. Up until that trial started, that was like it for her.
Yeah.
And she was sitting there watching it because she was in there while I was testifying. She was just like, the stuff that she was looking at, she was like, I can't.
She blurted out something during the trial, didn't she? Remember she blurted out during the trial?
Yeah, they had to tell her kind of like tone it down. She screamed, "You should be ashamed of yourself, Musa."
And it's funny because my
was
mother,
just upsetting.
She's a retired social worker. So she's worked with abused kids ever since I was a kid, bringing families to our house, staying with us. When they had
it's a long history of stuff that how she's helped families and stuff. And you know what she said? She said, being a social worker, when they walk in the county office, she said you can smoke them out real fast if they're abusing their kids. She just knew because of the training and everything she went through. She just knew. And I'm just like, wow. I mean, reading his transcripts, he just threw all his family up under the bus. And it was like a thing where I'm going to just sell you out. I'm going to sell you out. And he had did wrong. And I'm just going to say to the point where he lied and wrote letters in people's names and brought it to court. The trick his attorney, I think his attorney, going through those transcripts, I think his attorney got sick of him. I think his attorney knew that he was lying, even though he was defending him, because it was his line of questioning. Things he asked him. When he asked him, for example, Marlon spoke about this on your podcast, Richard, concerning him stealing lunches from school and why he did it. And when Musa was asked by his attorney, why was your son stealing lunches from school? He said he was a klepto. And so that's when his attorney stopped. He said, what do you mean? Why you keep saying klepto? What do you mean by klepto? Are you saying a kleptomaniac? He said, yeah, he was a kleptomaniac. He said he would go to school and steal 11 to 12 lunches. Him and Marcus was doing it. And his attorney asked Musa, he said, and did you ask your son why was he doing it? He said, yeah, I asked him why he did it. And what did he say? He said, because he just liked doing it. That's not even answering. You knew why the whole time he was doing it. And you sat up there and you lied to cover your butt from the stuff that you was doing.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, damn, writing names and all of our sisters trying to trick us up. He did so much stuff that's coming, y'all. Writing letters in people's names.
Yeah.
All types of stuff. And I'm going to tell you, him and her, I learned something today from speaking to our advocate. He will have you do some dirt for him. And when you do the dirt for him, he going to make sure that his name is scot clean, that he don't get in trouble. That person that's doing the dirt for him going to get in trouble. That's what she did.
And try to use it leverage against you.
Yep.
That's what she was doing.
Yeah.
She played up there on the stand. Oh, I didn't know. Oh, I don't remember that. Oh, I was afraid. Oh, I was scared. Like, how many times can you sit on the stand and not answer a question and just say over? That's why, like you said, somebody had some dealings
Yeah.
in
You
this
know,
man.
with her, because he felt he was the hunter. And even though she did what she did, all that stuff, she was game to him. Anything was game to him. But what happened is like the song goes, I think in Martha Reed and Vandellas goes by when the hunter gets captured by the game. So, he didn't know he was hunting another hunter, you know?
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
they got off into that situation. It was like the mad comic books, spy versus spy. And that's exactly what it was.
And the religion, when they spoke of the religion, it was so well put together the way he spoke. But me and Rick said at the same time, well, why you ain't do it? Why you ain't do what's right? You sit up there and you speak about all the stuff that you can't do to children and that
Mm-hmm.
you did all those things.
Yeah,
All
all that
those
stuff
things
they was breaking down in
against
Islam. He
your
said you
own.
can't do this, you can't,
Yeah,
with the fasting, everything, and how
yeah.
you treat somebody and everything. He didn't do any of that.
And you went against your own religious beliefs and still going
Mm-hmm.
against your own religious beliefs, sitting in prison professing to be a Muslim, wearing the kufi and all that stuff, and still ain't apologized or taken accountability, no responsibility at all. You didn't do not one thing wrong. And it's the same thing for her. That's why I say they like each other's twin brother, twin sister,
Mm.
because they got this verse in the Quran that talks about um somebody being alike so much to the point that on earth they assign, a twin brother, even though
Mm.
you don't biologically have one, but you're just alike.
Mm.
And I'm saying, I looked at a lot of stuff in there and compared both of their testimonies. They both doing the same thing. And like he said in his testimony, you don't cross her. And it was the same thing for him when it came to all of us. Like he said, you don't cross me. And his attorney asked him, I mean, Julie Baldwin asked him, if your religion says don't do X, Y, and Z to your children, why did you do such and such? I didn't. The master would punish you. The master
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't allow it. The master, he'll beat you down with his fist. But yet, you stand up at the end of court during a trial ending and you get a sentence for punishing and mistreating your children the way you did viciously. And you stand up and put your fists up and say, they're going to get theirs because I rule with an iron fist.
Yeah.
No, you got it
Yeah.
wrong.
That was crazy.
Only God
I was
ruled
there
with
at
an
that
iron
sentencing
fist.
when that fool got up and got the
That
saying
was
that.
just, if you'd have been there, Rick,
I was like, he's
we walked
toast.
up out of
I said,
there.
you must be. You must be. I said, the judge, and the judge just sat back and waited.
We
And when
walked up out of there,
when
Rick.
he finished saying what he had to say, the judge let him spew out stuff, and the judge was like, "Okay, you finished?" He was like, "Yeah, I'm finished." The judge was like, "It's
Yep.
my turn."
After waiting all them hours, they sent everybody home. We came back that evening, and the judge told him, Mr. Muhammad, I'm gonna sentence you. And so
The judge was having tears throughout that trial.
Really?
Yeah.
Had to
Even
take
the
him
juries, if you look over at the
back. It
juries,
was,
you try not to look at them. It was emotional for all of us. You know how many tears?
just
Because
hearing that
talking
stuff.
about that stuff, I had to get a lot of breaks.
Look
Because
what happened on the Dr. Phil show.
I
I'm
was
out there in the
jittery,
audience.
and then he was trying to
People
give
leaving out
eye
the audience.
contact. Yeah.
Everybody, every which way I look, everybody had tears.
Yeah,
People
but
ask
I'm
me,
saying,
"Are you okay? Are you all right?"
yeah, but in the courtroom that day, I'm saying everybody up there that testified, all of our siblings shed tears.
Yeah.
Because the experience after we spoke. And I'm like, I know how I felt. I was up there, I was jittery. I tried to keep my focus. I ain't even want to look at them. Because I tried to keep my focus off of. I just couldn't, because I kept telling Hannah, I said, this is doomsday. I couldn't keep, when I was sitting up in there, I said, I was sitting there, I looked over at him, and I was waiting for some remorse. He didn't cry. He didn't say he was sorry. All he did was just talk the whole time. And the judge kept saying, I'm holding you in contempt. And he kept making faces, making noises, throwing pencils, dropping. It was a lot of distraction in there. But when sentence time came, his attorney asking the judge to spare him, and the judge was like, I'm not going to spare him. I'm going to sentence him. He said, I'm not going to spare him because of his behavior during the whole trial
He has no
towards his
remorse.
children. The judge did not say towards no wives. He said towards your children, the way you spoke of your children. I'm going to sentence you harshly, he said. And you know what Musa said? He said, come on with the sentencing.
You ain't my master.
He said, if you
he said that.
Yeah, he did.
He said, you ain't my master. Come on and sentence me.
Calm down.
Up. And the judge told him he need to sit down. He need to calm down. Guess what?
He'll get restrained.
When he got all them sentences, he didn't sit down that one time. He stood up there with his hands on his hips and on his mouth, turning around looking and all that. And he gonna stand up there when they told him take him out. He gonna say that's okay, cause the master's gonna get them for what they did. And then put his fist up, cause I rule with an iron fist.
Iron fist. That was like,
and that was our cue. We walked up out of there. He ain't learned anything. He hasn't learned anything.
He's like somebody from one of the old Soviet Union, communist way back here. I rule with an iron fist. And I was like, it's been rulers throughout time that hollered that stuff, and they went down. I'm looking on here on the screen, and over here at the bottom, and I see the pictures of of them.
Yeah, right.
And I'm seeing, Marlon with the hat, with that kufi on. I was like, that's during that time. That's right during that time. I'm like, shh. And it's funny because those
pictures right there that was taken, the pictures with the younger kids, excluding Sharon and Marlon, those other pictures that was taken with Christopher Chikosi,
yeah,
and I think that's
Curtis?
Mike
Curtis.
Okay, yeah. Those pictures right there was taken in June of 2000.
Okay.
Those other pictures at the top was taken in July of 2000, because those pictures up at the top with Sharon and Marlon, right. That's when they came and got Sharon, Marlon, me, Tiffany, and Lakeisha, and they tried to commit us in mental wards because this trick right here had wrote a letter stating that all of us was insane and was incompetent and we couldn't take care of ourselves. That's what they told us.
Yeah. It looked like they got, Marlon has on different clothes, because I'm saying compared to the other clothes.
Oh, yeah, of course.
That kufi's the same. That kufi been around. That kufi that Chris has on, it's the same. And I think Curtis might have one on too that's probably the same from way, But the clothes, I'm saying, because the clothes was like, they had on clothes like 4 sizes too big. It was ridiculous.
The whole dynamic of all that stuff that went on in that house, like I said, I stay fast, and I'm a stickler at it. It was all 4 of the adults' fault that was in that house, and I don't care what none of them say or how they feel. All 4 of them was responsible.
Yep, they were there.
And
they
those
watched
ladies
it. They were part of it.
Those ladies that lived in the home, they said that he did all this stuff to him, to them, and we never saw it. It was not his responsibility to take care of them. They knew what they was getting themselves into when they got with him. They knew it. And Adrienne knew it. She knew it because she saw it. She saw it. She lived
that's all she's known all her life anyway. From the surroundings, the background she come from.
I'm not talking about all her life. I'm talking about being a grown adult in that home now, because things happen to people when they're kids and when they're younger. But I'm saying we were children in that home. She was an adult in that home. And the stuff that they're putting on him saying he did this, they put in They made sure that they put everything on him. They didn't take no responsibility themselves for anything. That's what they did. And there's no way, and I say that over, there's no way that one person, all of us got good common sense. He did a lot of things and he was wrong. But there's no way you got 4 adults in the house. And that he was dominating all the adults and children. You know how many people that was in the house that lived in that house? 18, 19 people. There's no way. One person can't do all of that. One person. The stuff that all of us testified to and the stuff that they testified to, there's no way that one person can do all of that.
Even mom was blaming him for everything.
Yeah. You can't blame him for everything you smelled, you saw, you ate, you went to sleep, you got up, what type of clothes you had on. Them 2 women made their own choices. They made their own choices. They're not going to change either because they up there too. They ain't going to change neither. They're a stickler at the same stuff. Do you think they've apologized to us? When Adrian apologized to us and the lady that helped us yard, the friend of our Muslim lady that has passed away, God rest her soul, when she apologized to us, that was not a real apology. And I discovered that by reading them transcripts. That's what opened my eyes, that was not a real apology.
Was the lady there? Did she prompt her to apologize to you, or did she do it?
I don't know because it was an apology abruptly out of nowhere. She was leaving to go to Cleveland, and we were sitting in the yard under the tree. It was Lakeisha, me, Marlon, Sharon, Tiffany, Michael, and we were sitting up under the tree because she was leaving. And we knew we weren't going to see Kenya no more because she was taking her. And she told us that she apologized for everything that happened. But she said, I want to let you guys know this. She said, I did tell Laura not to put all them lies in that letter. And she looked at me and told me that if I didn't go along with it, that I was going down with him too. But when I read them transcripts, I saw something totally different.
Oh, yeah. Something totally different.
She went back to Cleveland with Laura.
No, she didn't go back with her. She left at a different time.
Yeah, a different time. Yeah. I'm saying but Laura was there. Yeah.
Laura had left, like, I don't know what year she left, but I know when that case started, she got up out of there. She was gone. But Adrian didn't leave California. I don't think she left until, like, I want to say maybe 2003, 2004 is when she left. Because remember, she was on some sort of probation for 5 years where she couldn't leave. Right. Because she had social workers coming out to the house that was checking, keeping an eye on her. So they had people that they was making pay for small amounts of stuff. But this one right here, that was their trophy right there. That's what they wanted. That was their little trophy. She was like a spy that all of us didn't know that was living in the house.
What's her famous expression?
Everything that glitters
is not gold. If you see something, say something. Yeah, yep. If you see something, say something.
Say something. Yeah. Everybody has a story, and what you do with your story is your glory.
Yeah,
that's her sayings.
Well, she picked those up because I've heard those.
No, she did. But we just saying
them up, but that's what she constantly uses.
What she saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. It's been a good one. We'll be up for a good while.
Yeah.
When we didn't finish up, we'll come back next week with.
Yep, we'll just add on to that.
We'll just add on. Once again, everybody that's been following, keep following. Donate. to the channel. You see the Cash App going across the bar, the little ticker, and yeah, it's been a good one. Yo, that's it for y'all. And Hannah, got anything you want to add? Because it was good, man. It was good.
Yeah, I'm still digesting and processing some of this stuff that went on. Just so much information, and it just constantly more and more.
Yeah,
And so the thing about it is that she's out there continuing to do what she's been doing, and the damage that she's has inflicted. And it's to the thing of, I'm hoping that somebody, people that look at this place and actually, go to Laura's channel and say, how many names have you used? Is that your real name, Laura Calvin? Because you have several more.
yeah,
I don't even know if that's even her name, like I
Yeah,
told you.
yeah. But we're gonna keep doing. We're gonna keep digging and researching. We're gonna find out. We're gonna find out.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
All right, y'all. It's been a good one. We'll see y'all next week. Have a great weekend.